call this meeting of the Waushara County Planning and Zoning Committee to order. The meeting will begin with a public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or the representative wishing to speak must register and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator at this time. Following the hearing, we will conduct our monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the hearing. The applicant and town board will be sent a copy of tonight's decisions. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of a decision can sign the sheet on the table at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure will be as follows. After each applicant is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will be asked to present their application, followed by any questions or comments from the committee. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a chance to speak. Anyone objecting will then have a chance to speak. I will then ask for a summary of the committee's field observation and staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a chance for a short rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone at the front of the room. State your name and direct your comments to the committee only. I ask that all testimony be kept brief, no more than 5 minutes, and to the point. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located relative to the subject's property. Tonight's hearing will be recorded, and the recording will become part of the record. Comments that are based on hearsay or secondhand information, as well as slanderous or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The committee has looked at all the properties and recorded would reflect their observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of the committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to make an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustments. Information and applications are available from the zoning office. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of the 10-day period. I will now introduce the committee. To my far left, Barry Mastacola, Jerry Rathmo, Fred Gallop, Bob Wadle, Terry Dot Poxted, zoning administrator. My name is Mark Kirshner. First application that we will hear tonight, conditional use. William Voss Living Trust, Antioch, Illinois, has made application for a conditional use in accordance with sections 58-236, paragraph 18, and 58-454, paragraph 31 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to store a 1998 Salem 28 travel trailer in an AG General Agricultural Zone within the shoreland area. Location, an approximately 18-acre parcel of land being part of the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter, lying east of County Road N, Section 33, Town 18 North, Range 11 East, Town of Marion, fire number W6199, Check Drive. Is the applicant present?
I'm representing him, sir.
You want to come to the microphone here, please? Can you tell us a little bit,
Well,
state your name for the record, please, first?
Robert Steiskal, S-T-E-I-S-K-A-L, Senior. What, the address?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit what he's going to do, or?
Well, I've known Bill since we were in high school together. I'm from Antioch originally, but I live up here for years now. He says that he has his trailer up here. He has a pole barn building. He has a trailer. They live in that in the summertime. They come up on the weekends, and every now and then. He has no water in there. He has water out in another building, and he has a porta potty there. That's about all I can know about it.
The committee has a few questions. Sure. Would you be willing to answer those for the committee?
Sure.
Committee questions, please? Fred?
Yes, I'm right with it. Has there been a recent survey on that property?
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Do you know where the lot lines are?
I don't know. He does. I don't.
Is there only a single travel trailer, is there only a single travel trailer there now?
Right,
Okay.
correct.
Are you exchanging the one that is there for a newer one, or have you, as is shown in the photographs?
He had talked about buying a newer one, whether he is or not, all depends on what happens here.
Will the trailer be at least 100 feet from all lot lines?
Oh, yes,
Will the trailer be licensed and roadworthy?
no. It's roadworthy, it's not licensed though.
The one that's there now is not. What Mr. Voss told us on site was that the new one is, and that's why he purchased the new one to comply with that requirement.
It'll be licensed and roadworthy, the new one. Okay. Will there be running water on the property?
There is,
What type of sanitary facilities are used?
he has a porta potty up there, which is pumped every month or 2 months, whatever it is.
Okay. Are there any other buildings or structures planned?
The only one is just a little shed, he keeps his lawnmower and tools in this little 6x8 shed.
But that exists currently.
Right, right.
Okay. Are there any other travel trailers in that area?
No, his son has one, he comes up with it in the summertime and parks it up there, but he doesn't leave it here.
Is there a new driveway needed?
What kind?
A new driveway?
New? No, it's not new.
Is there one?
Oh, there's a driveway though. Oh, yeah, there's a driveway in there.
The driveway is more than adequate. We drove down. it
Okay,
for
driveway is
inspection,
good,
yeah.
so a new one will not be needed. Is this property in the managed forest law?
No.
Do you have a uniform property address number on site?
Does he have?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a sign out in front.
Got the property address, red sign, always red?
That I cannot tell you.
It is.
I know the fire number's out there. That's all I can tell you.
That's it, yeah.
If approved, when would the new trailer be placed?
You're asking me something I can't answer. You answer it for me.
I'll try. That is all the questions that I have.
Is there any other committee questions, Barry or Jerry?
None.
Bob?
No.
Okay, you can have a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Correspondence?
There's no correspondence and no one registered.
All right, staff comments?
For the record, the committee has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all the pertinent data for this and the other application that they're considering tonight. I would like to explain a little bit about conditional use permits. They have two before them tonight. All defined zones have uses that are permitted outright. You just get a permit and you can do it. Others may be permitted provided certain conditions are met, and that's where the conditional use permit comes in. And that's what we're looking at here. They look at these at a public hearing, and if certain parameters can be complied with, and the use remains in keeping with the surrounding area and other uses around, then they can be permitted. In some counties, they're called special exception permits. It's the landowner's responsibility to provide the information that shows the committee this use is still in keeping with the zone and area it is proposed for, and that the conditions placed on it will ensure it will be a good neighbor to the surrounding landowners. When the committee viewed the property, they noted that a newer unit is being proposed to replace the one that is currently there, and it would be licensed and roadworthy. That the location is well off and not visible from the county road. There was a porta potty present. They actually testified there was two there. I think I only saw one. And that it does have a uniform address number there. So that's, I really don't have any other comments. Nope. No correspondence.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to add? Thank you. Okay, that concludes the first conditional use. Next conditional use that will be the Lost Companion Foster Care Center, Saxville, Wisconsin. Patrick Lesage, landowner, has made application for a conditional use in accordance with section 58-694 of the Waushara County zoning code to establish an animal rescue and adoption center in an existing commercial building in the CC Community Commercial Zone within the shoreland area. Location, an approximate 0.20 acre parcel of land known as the south half of lots 9 and 10, block 4 of the Village of Saxville, plot now lot 1 of certified survey map number 4564, being part of the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter, section 30, town 20 north, range 12 east, town of Saxville. Fire number N5462, County Road W. Is the applicant present? You want to come forward too? Did you want to? You both can stand up here if you want. Yeah. Both of you state your names for the record, please.
Deb Schultz.
Deb Jesłowski.
Yeah.
J-O-Z, like in zebra.
Okay. First name again?
Deb.
Thank you. Both Debs?
Yep, and I have no T in my name, just S-T-H-U-L-Z.
Oh, geez, now I gotta change it. That's what I get for getting ahead of myself. It'll be close.
All right, can you explain to the committee what's your intention?
Okay, well, just quickly, we are feral cat management. We spay and neuter, TNR, we trap the cats, spay and neuter, return. We do free roaming cats, feral cats, and barn cats. We take them out to Waupaca Small Animal Hospital. They get an ear tip. They get vaccinated with rabies and distemper. We take in feral cats and kittens, rehome them, or put them in our foster care, actually, and just for people's regular houses. Socialize them and work with bigger rescues up in Neenah area to adopt them out. So far to date, we've done 1,424 cats have been spayed and neutered in this county and also in Waupaca, and 920 cats and kittens have been rehomed. Yeah, so, and now what we're looking to do with the store is, because all of our foster moms are burnt out and it's hard to get foster homes, we would just like to have a centrally located building to have the cats and kittens on site there and have volunteers come, every single day, twice a day. Clean the cages, work with the animals, and hold adoption events. And also do some fundraising thing, craft projects, stuff like that.
The committee has some questions for you. Committee questions, please?
Yes.
Barry?
Do you have an accepted offer to purchase on this property?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Has there been a recent survey of the property? A recent survey by the, okay. Obviously, you know where the lot lines are, sir?
Yes, Mike Moe has done.
Sir, would you step up to the microphone here also?
Sure. Mike Moe has done several surveys of all of our properties there, and
Okay.
it's current and it's
Pardon me,
accurate.
Barry, would you state your name for the record,
Yeah, I'm
please?
Pat Lesage, the owner of the property.
Thank you, sir. Could you describe your operation in any more detail? Is there anything else to add as far as your operation, or?
We write grants. We obtain grants from PetSmart charities, so we can offset the cost. We don't charge anybody if we get grants. We had an $8,000 PetSmart charity. So when people do call and they don't have any money, we just do it all for free. We raise money pretty much, we do it all for free anyway, it seems like, because nobody's got any money. So it's $30 a male, $50 a female. We got Greg Biffle Foundation from the NASCAR guy. We get money from him. We're applying for other grants now. We do tons of toy sales, craft fairs.
Why don't you tell them about the Anna Paschke Fund?
Oh, yeah, Anna Paschke Trust Fund, actually, yeah. That was left in 1994. I don't know if you guys, anybody's familiar with that. We deal with them. She had left money in 1994 when she passed away to go towards the spay and neuter, or not even spay and neuter, it was food and litter. Anyway, so that is the trust that would be purchasing this building at this time. Because that was her wishes, that there was some kind of shelter. And it's not animal. We're not taking in horses, dogs, donkeys, it's nothing, just cats. It's just a cat rescue. So,
Never more than 20.
yeah,
will be-
yeah, on the property at one time.
And they will be in kitty condos, and they're not gonna be running around loose.
So currently, as far as sites that you operate from now, is currently your,
Just foster homes.
okay.
Yep.
All right, and they're all located within the area, I take it, right within? Okay.
Yeah. Well, wherever we can find them. There's a couple in Waupaca.
Have you had contact with the Humane County Officer?
Yes.
As far as County Humane Officer?
Yep, I talked to her.
Very good. As far as state requirements, you're familiar with them and how to follow those?
Well, I talked to Mary, the environmental health inspector.
Okay.
And she said there's nothing, no inspection or nothing for cats. Just for dog kennels, she had stated.
The building inspector has been notified and has gone through as far as,
Yeah, we're purchasing the building as is.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So other
Oh,
than
yeah, and then
cat,
the other guy, that one from Westfield, that 608 number? Yeah, and he,
Yeah, and he said, since it was already zone commercial, it's fine.
as far as people dropping off other cats, their animals?
no, we're not a public, we are not a humane society, we are not a shelter, we do not take personal surrenders. We are strictly for the poor souls out on the street, feral barn, like I said, that need, medical attention or,
How do you prevent them from doing it?
well, we don't know. That's something that we might have to, and I personally feel that if the cat or kittens are dropped off at our property, that's where they're supposed to be in our care. And we will definitely work with other rescues to provide a safe place for them if we're too full.
And of course, you made comments as far as fundraising events, or anything for retail sale. Would there be any retail
Yep,
sales?
down the road, with the commercial little place in the front, we hope to sell like the cat toys and
Okay.
bunk beds and all kinds of cat stuff. So,
Adequate parking there as far as what kind of traffic would you be expecting? Is there adequate parking?
yes, there's adequate parking. It'd be wonderful if it was filled up all the time with adoptions, but I don't know if that'll happen.
As far as advertising, any sign plan, and if so, where might it be located?
I don't know, I'm still, might be under the radar, because I don't want to get inundated with people knowing, that it's, the more people that are going to know about it, I'm afraid the more people might be dropping off cats and kittens. So we're kind of been always under the radar, because I get inundated personally with phone calls. I want, you have to help me, and so we're kind of,
From the sound of it, it sounds like you guys have been busy already.
yeah.
Okay. As far as waste disposal, litter, all of that,
It goes with every volunteer that comes in and scoops the poop, it goes back out with them, so.
throw
Yeah.
it in their pocket and run?
Yeah,
Is that?
that's just in baggies, and it gets left in people's cars, and no, I'm just kidding, but yeah, we've had, so. But no, it won't be on the property at all, or we won't have garbage dumpsters out there or nothing, it just goes with the volunteer back to their garbage can.
We understand, you're going to be looking for adoption for them or sale. What do you think would be the maximum? 20 would be the max at any one time?
Yeah, because that's the most that I feel we can just,
Handle at
yeah,
any time?
Yep,
Okay.
mm-hmm.
And no other cats or kittens will be kept there for any reason other than what you're looking for?
No.
Is that correct? So you already made the point of that. So when would you plan on, as far as after approval, if it is granted?
As soon as possible. We've got foster homes that I'm, begging my foster moms at this time, like, will you take, do one more round or whatever, and hopefully if we get this, then we can move the, cats or kittens into the building. And everybody totally
The
agreed.
Paschke Foundation has agreed, if you grant the approval tonight, they're gonna close Tuesday.
I have no further questions.
Jerry or Fred, anything? Bob?
no.
Sure, I have a question. Are there any of those feral cats especially that are simply not domesticated? You cannot
Oh,
domesticate?
no, oh, yeah, definitely, like 90% of true ferals. But that doesn't mean that they don't get spayed and neutered, so they don't reproduce. It's always been where people would shoot them, kill them, take them to Humane Society, put them to sleep. What our program does is, I was just out at Lake Christine, trapped 8 of them. And old grandpa's just feeding them, and, but they just keep having kittens. He wants them to stay there. He feeds them. They're his, they're not feral to him, but I come up there and they're gone like lightning. But they're all spayed and neutered. They all got vaccinated. They have their ear tipped to show that they're already altered. And they'll live out their life there. And he's already got arrangements where if something happens to him, the family will call me to find homes for them, which we do. We have a barn buddy program. And a lot of barns and farms will take cats that are already altered and vaccinated, and they welcome them, so. But no, a feral is a feral. I mean, I have ferals that are my babies, but again, if you came over, you would never see them, so.
Okay.
But they deserve as much attention and love and respect as a couch cat, in my eyes, so.
So, do you ever have to go out and round up cats that people call you and say?
Oh, that's, yes.
That's how the main
all the time, all the
flow
time.
is.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we do the campgrounds. People leave after the summer, leave cats and kittens left behind that they got at Princeton Flea Market, and that they had kittens, and those kittens are feral. I'm working with Wild Rose Hospital now. A lady passed away. Her children left the cats out. So now they had kittens. Those kittens are feral. So I already grabbed 6 kittens out of a window well over there by the hospital. And so it's every day we get calls, every single day.
And do some people bring them to you? They have rounded them up
Nope,
themselves?
nope, because we have all the traps. They have to put a deposit on our traps. You have to show them how to trap. We have to have it set up for an appointment at the vet, you know, so it's gotta be on a schedule. It's every single Tuesday that we can go to 10 to 14 cats. Every Tuesday that'll be, altered.
Okay.
So,
What is the turnaround time? Like say, I would call and say there's 20 cats running around by my place. You take those in your full, according to your,
well, the basic thing is if they're feral, and I won't take them into my care. I will trap them, vaccinate, return them to your property.
oh, okay.
Unless
You don't
I've
try to put those up for adoption?
Oh, yeah, I mean, if they have to be returned. Like I said, the majority of them are like older people that are feeding them that they're,
Okay.
you know.
Somebody that
But I
really-
just did 14 over in Hancock, and the lady passed away last September. Well, now I had to relocate, go back in, retrap, find Barn Buddy homes. Same thing out at the hospital's got like 10 out there. So, yeah, so it takes a while to find a Barn Buddy home, but you can find them. So, just a lot of networking, social media, stuff like that.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask, what kind of bait do you use for live trapping those cats?
Tuna.
Pigeons.
Tuna, canned food. If the cat's really naughty, you use the dreaded canned mackerel from the dollar store, and that'll get them every time. So, yeah. But we set up traps like a week ahead. We zip tie them up, and then the owners or whatever, if they're on the property, they feed them, so they get used to going in and out of the trap. And then when I get out there, I set the trap, and the cat just thinks it's going in for breakfast like every other day, and I usually, get them pretty quick. So, and then take them to the vet, and they're brought back to the property the same day.
Is there a charge for this?
Well, it is $30 for male, 50 for female. We try to raise all the money where it doesn't usually cost anybody anything through grants, through, the PetSmart grants. The Anna Peschke Trust Fund's been helping us. Right now, funds get a little bit low until we get into the major fundraising season kind of for the summer. Then if you count that I have no money, I'll say at least give me $20. You got to give us something just to show that you got to give us something so we can buy cat food or something. Yeah. But otherwise, we usually end up at least $15 for a male. We'll ask you, 25 for a female, whatever. But again, it's a lot of elderly people that have been feeding these hordes and colonies of ferals that are on Social Security that unfortunately don't have the means to pay for it. So.
Anything else from the committee?
Nope, not for me.
Sounds like Fred would like to volunteer his service.
Anytime.
Yeah, I got
Can I
plastic
just add
bags and
a
everything.
point? I've had this building for rent and for sale for years and years, and we've had a couple of tenants in there, but nobody's made it. And it's sitting empty, and these are remarkable women. To find the Paschke Foundation willing to put all the money up to do this, to put that building back to use, and they've talked to everyone in the neighborhood, and when they hear the story you just heard, they all say, this is great. We're totally in support. All the firemen across the street know them by name, so I urge you to support it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Correspondence?
When you looked at your packet, you saw quite a bit of correspondence. You got all the correspondence, and we have not received any since then. All the letters were in favor. There was lots of people, neighbors, the town board. I'm going to ask that you not have me read all that, because I know that you've read it, and I don't want to take that much time. So if that's okay, that's what I would like to do with the correspondence. You got every piece that was in there. Nothing else came in since then, so. Okay, I know you wanted to hear it all.
Yeah, I really did. Just kidding.
You read it.
Okay. Anyone in favor to speak?
No, we had 2 people register in favor but not speak, and Pat Lesage already has, so there's 2 more.
Joe Shuba, is that right? Register but not speak. Marilyn Shuba, registered and not speak.
And that's Pat Lesage.
Okay.
He already came up there.
I got him up here.
Okay. Okay, staff comments, please?
Yep. It's another conditional use, this time in a commercial zone. Again, it's the landowner's responsibility to provide the information to the committee that shows this use is going to be in keeping with the zone and area it is proposed for and the surrounding property owners and their use of the property. When the committee visited the property, they noted that there appears to be room for parking. The store itself has been there for many years, has been used as a retail facility in the past, and that if conditions are followed, the operation should be relatively unobtrusive to the neighbors. And that's it for my comments.
Is there anything the applicant would like to add?
I guess personally,
No, step up to the podium. Sorry.
no, I just think that if we don't get this building at this point, then it will probably shut us down as far as anything of foster care, taking in any cats or kittens, that, because we just, like I said, don't have the facility the foster homes aren't there anymore, because people are just burnt out. We've been doing this for 9 years. So I'm afraid that if we don't get this building, that whole foster care adoption is just the cats will be left out on the streets of Washera County. And we'll just continue with the TNR, and that's about all we could do at this point. So that's about it.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, that concludes our applications for tonight. We will now conduct our business meeting in the room next door. The applicants are welcome to come with us. The Board of Adjustments will meet here next. Come on, Grandma, you guys deal with it. Cheaper.
Now we're gonna go with you. There's more room up in front here.
You're going to start now.
Oh, I see, different group, okay.
Yep.
Benny, all set?
All set.
I'll call this meeting of the Washera County Board of Adjustments to order. This meeting will be conducted in the same manner as the applications heard by the Planning and Zoning Committee. Please remember to keep your comments brief, no more than 5 minutes, and relative to the matter at hand. Anyone other than the applicant or representative wishing to speak at this hearing must have registered. Anyone who has not should do so immediately and submit the registration slip to the zoning administrator. The committee has looked at all the properties, and the record will reflect these observations. Following the public hearing, the board will conduct their monthly business meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave following the public hearing. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this committee has 10 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Washera County Circuit Court. Information on appeals is available from the clerk of court's office and qualified legal counsel. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. Now I introduce the rest of the committee. To my left are Larry Tim, Kevin Fitzgerald, Mark Schumacher, John Benz. My name is Roger Wagner. The first variance to be considered tonight, Ken and Anna Slimgen, La Crosse, Wisconsin, have made an application for variance in accordance with section 58-235, paragraph A, paragraph 5A, and paragraph B1, and 58-542, paragraph C and 2 and 4 of the Washera County Zoning Code for additions to an existing single-family dwelling to include repairing and raising the foundation 4-foot construction on an approximate 4 by 10-foot addition onto the attached garage, the approximate 10 by 26 addition above the attached garage, and proposed addition to garage to match the roof line of the existing dwelling, adding a gable above the 12 by 16 portion of the home close to the lake, and approximate 12 by 40-foot deck coming to within 3.5 feet of the westerly side lot line, and to within 12 feet of the ordinary high water mark of Silver Lake, and remodeling the existing portion of dwelling to include replacing doors, windows, and other structural alterations exceeding maintenance and repair allowed to an existing non-conforming structure, non-conforming due to water, road, and side lot setbacks in the RS-20 single-family residential zone within the shoreline area. Location, a parcel of land being part of government lot 2 on the northwest shore of Silver Lake between Highway 21 and the lake, Section 6, Town 18 North, Range 11 East, Town of Marion, Silver Lake, W 7185 West Silver Lake Road. Is the applicant present? Yes. Come forward, please. You want to briefly, or your name, please?
It's Ken Schlimgen, Schlimgen.
Okay. And you want to briefly tell us what you want to do and why and the reason for the variance?
Sure. First, I'd like to thank you for hearing me tonight. My dad served on the county board for a number of years back in Iowa County, and I know it's kind of a thankless job, and I myself was just elected my third term as school board, so you put a lot of hours in for little pay. But as you visit it's the McNamee property, which you're probably familiar, and we're only the second owner. We purchased the property a few years back, and from your site visit, you can see it needs a facelift. The property still has basically the original windows in it, and probably the original siding in there. We utilize the property so that my wife, Ann, who is the youngest of the 10 fathers, if you're familiar with that family name, is familiar around here, can visit her family. Her brother Michael owns Silvercrest. My brother-in-law Dick is here, and actually the neighbor, Mr. Honnold, is actually here too. So that's what we use the property for, and so we would like to upgrade it so that it's more usable for us as a family. My daughter actually lives in Wautoma. She is actually just past week married the Vizino boy, and she's on the EMS squad here. I'm here tonight to ask for a variance so that we can replace the windows, the doors, the siding, basically give it a facelift. And at the same time, what we wanted to do was bring that garage up. So when you look at the front of the house, if you notice, the right hand and the left hand side, and I'm into symmetry, don't match. So we want to bring that garage up so it matches the other side. Also on the garage right now is the garage roof leaks. It's a flat roof. Flat roofs really weren't meant for Wisconsin winters. And so we want to put the pitch roof on, and the easiest way is to bring it out straight. On the water side, what we want to do is we want to put a deck. And I guess the way we see it, a lake home without a deck to view the lake is just a home. And with the lake home, we'd like to have the deck. And we've asked to go out 11 feet 8 inches. And the reason we didn't ask to go out 12 feet is because the existing walkout goes out 11 feet 8 inches, and we don't want to go any closer to the lake than what the existing property does. The reason we're asking to raise the house, and when we mean raise, we don't mean knock it down. We mean we want to lift the house 4 feet so the basement would have that much more height. And the reason that we're doing that is so that the roof of the walkout will fit underneath the deck. That's about the only way you can do it, so that when you walk out of the walkout, you're underneath the deck. So, and again, so our variance is asking just to square up the house. That our distance to the lake will actually still be less than the neighbors to our, it'd be on the east or west side of us. Their home will still be closer than we are. So I guess I'm just asking to approve the variance. We're expecting that it's going to be about $60,000 to $70,000 that we'll be putting in the house by the time we're finished. So.
Okay. Just a few questions then
Sure.
for the record.
Yep.
Has there been a recent survey out there?
Yes, Creer did a survey less than 2 years ago, and I believe he had sent it to the county.
You're sure the ordinary high water mark also?
The county came out and they placed flags for the high water mark, and they're actually still there. I stopped by tonight, and they're still in there tonight, yeah.
Have
I've talked to the neighbors. I have not talked to the town board, or the sewage district, or who was the other one? Who was the other one you had asked?
Lake District?
No, I've not talked to the Lake District. The town board, I've worked with them before. We actually own the Booth property out on F, and worked with them when they asked us to remove all the buildings on that farm. So,
How do you plan on dealing with stormwater runoff from the home and additions?
what I've talked with the county on is, as part of this variance, I need to have is the term it's not restoration plan. Is that the correct term?
Talk about mitigation?
Mitigation plan that we will have to file, and what they told me is for a fee that the county will do that for me. And my guess is it will be similar to what the neighbors had, where they'll have the native grasses and stuff growing up in front of the home. So, and that was talking with Rick,
This will be a walkout basement then?
which is existing now. Yes, the same as it exists right now.
And the rest of the foundation will be a block wall then?
The existing foundation is all block. Truthfully, it's hard to find a mason in this area, so our expectation is the 4 foot we put on top of the block will be wood. But the existing foundation will stay. And so we'll just put 4 feet of wood on top of that. So, if you can give me a good mason, I'll put block up, but it's hard to find a good mason around here.
If you're raising the house up, have you considered it moving it away from the water and to the west where you have the lot of room there?
Well, to do that, we'd have to put a whole new basement and everything underneath it and a whole new foundation. We said all we're looking to do is raise the house directly straight up. Put 4 feet on top of the existing wall and then just set it right back down. The house won't move from the footprint it's in at all.
But you do have a double lot there, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Plans for the rest of that lot?
No. It's if the second lot's full of oak trees and such, I guess I'd hate to see all those taken down.
How far above the existing grade will the first floor elevation be, and how much filling and grading will be done?
There won't be any filling or grading done. It'll be 4 feet above where it is existing, so we'll have steps coming into the front.
What will the finished height of the home be?
I can't tell you exactly. It's 4 foot higher than what it is today.
Any other improvements planned at this time?
Beyond what we've basically, we're going to go inside and wire and do the ventilations. Everything will be done at the same time. That's why the windows and the doors and everything. And talking with the county, that's why I needed variance for that, because if you move windows and doors, you need a variance, I'm told.
So you're pretty much going to gut the house?
Yes, yes,
Rearrange walls?
yes. Yep.
Will all other setbacks be met?
Other than what we applied for? Yes. I mean, like I said, we're not changing the footprint of the existing foundation at all.
The small addition towards the water that is proposed, it's going to have a pitched roof. Is that just a great room, living room, or what is that going to be?
There's no addition towards the water other than on the walkout. Is that what you're thinking?
The one that's there now.
Yeah, the one that's there now will have a pitched roof.
Okay.
Yeah,
What is that used for?
that's just the walkout from the basement, and it's used for storage right now. You'll find the kayaks inside there and the tubes and stuff.
Are you going to make living space in the basement when you raise it up?
Yeah, I mean, the washer and dryer and stuff down there now. We would like to put a bedroom down there, and so we know that we'll have to put the correct window in for the fire escape and, to meet the codes.
Would this part towards the lake be removed so the setback to the water would be increased rather than fix it up?
Well, if you remove it, then I guess it takes how do you get out of the basement, and that's where the deck comes out. Can
you explain the need for the burdensome to not have it?
I guess we look at the deck, I mean, for the best use of the home. It's a lake home. It gives you access to the lake, and you know, is it a hardship? I guess we see it as it. But I mean, I guess I don't know how to. I mean, if the deck wasn't granted, I don't think we'd continue to own the home.
Could you construct a deck that does not go closer to the side lot line or the lake?
I don't. Well, the side lot line, I don't think it gets any closer because it'll run parallel with the side of the house now. And as far as the front, I think the only reason it's considered to go closer is the lake. It's not because the house is going any closer. The lake moves at that angle. So when you go out front there, it's just the angle of how the lake goes around, and that's why even when you look at the neighbors, theirs is closer yet because that lake goes in right at that spot. So.
We noted that when we were out there. What about the sewer hookup? Is that going to have to be altered at all?
It doesn't have to be. We're possibly looking at redoing that because as an old home, what it has now is it has the grinder in the basement, in the floor. There's a bathroom down there, and then it pumps up. We will look to see what the cost is of actually putting it in the floor so you don't have the grinding pump. Because right now, like most older homes, the sewer goes out about 5 foot up the wall. So right now for the basement one, we have to pump it up into that pipe. So we will look at changing that, which would mean that they would have to dig that up, but I'm guessing it's plenty deep.
Have you considered any other options, such as building a new home that would meet structures and better meet your needs?
I don't know with the existing setbacks if you could build a new home. I mean, would you give me a variance to build a new home of that size on the lake?
Well, that's not the question tonight.
Yeah. I guess we haven't considered that for the fact that I don't know if it's a feasible in order to meet the setbacks that are required on the lake based on the lots that are there. I mean, the property was built, I think, almost 70 years ago, and it was a part of the original farm. I believe McNamee's wife, dad owned the farm, and that's what we were told by their family is that was their wedding gift, was that lot.
Okay, I guess we have to go back to the original question.
Sure.
What the hardship and unique property limitations are that would support this grant?
Okay, I guess the unique property limitations is that it's a small lot with an existing structure, and so
You have two lots, though.
right, but neither lot would qualify in order to meet the setback.
One lot.
But I'm saying is in order to meet the setback from the road, or even if I move that house in the middle of the two lots, it still wouldn't meet the setbacks from the lake or the road. Is that correct? I mean, I think I'm correct in that. Is that?
Put a fair-sized house in there to meet the setback, or
I-
meet
I-
the
I don't-
Still need a variance.
I don't think you're going to meet the setbacks, but you could probably better meet them than
Yeah.
this house does.
Yeah.
But you'd still need a variance.
Right. Yeah, and then, if there's a hardship there in doing that, you're taking a $70,000 project and probably turning it into a $150,000 or $200,000 project in order to remove the old house, dig a new foundation, build a new house with the same square footage.
Are there any other non-conforming structures on the lot, and are you planning to remove any of them?
The only other structure on the lot is that little shed, and I don't believe that's non-conforming. It's a garden shed, and I mean, if that needed to be removed, I'm okay with that being removed.
Have you thought about removing any of the structures down by the water and restoring the shoreline?
No.
If an approval were granted what is your timetable for this project?
I believe the building permit's good for 1 year, is that correct? So we would hope to have it finished within the year. It will take some coordination because we'll have to bring the house guys in to lift it and then get the builder in. We've got 2 builders we've talked to, so.
And when you talked to the builders, did they say that it was feasible, that the foundation is in good shape and just raising it up is?
We talked to the movers out of Wisconsin Rapids, and I can't think of their name right now, and they said it should be fine to do that, so.
When we were there, there's cracks in that foundation that are there now. Has anybody looked at that?
There's a crack in the foundation on the garage, I believe. I didn't see any other.
There were bricks that were cracked.
Can you tell me which location where you saw them?
Southwest corner?
Yeah, the southwest corner would be on that corner of that garage. Yes, and what they've told me is that those should be easily be repaired because it's about 2.5 bricks down right on the corner, correct? Yeah. So, and that's actually on the garage, not on the home itself. And the garage, actually, we won't be raising the garage. We'll just be putting the roof over top of it.
Any other committee questions?
I have one. The chairman asked you, explain the need for the deck and why it qualifies as a hardship. And I don't know if you answered that question.
Okay. I guess I feel it qualifies as a hardship because it makes the property have such less value as a lake home without the ability to have a deck on it and to fully utilize the beauty of the lake. I mean, let's face it, that's why people, live here. That's why we had our home. We had the Kramer home on the other side of the lake when we lived here. I lived here for 4 years, and when I managed the power and light office here, and Mark, you were part of zoning then, and you worked with me when we redid that home. So, and so I guess that's the hardship we're looking at. The other thing is the increase in property value will maybe help alleviate some hardship in the county because I'm guessing our taxes will go up probably over $7,000 on that property.
So the cost of improvements, you said what you have here before us would be about 70,000?
Yes, that's what it's estimated.
Is that with the inside remodeling too, or just the outside?
That's with the inside, and that's with me doing some of the labor. Just lifting the house alone is about $12,000. No.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, had mentioned that you had 2 builders that were possibly going to work on the project, and then yourself now, you said too, you're going to do some.
Well, with some of the inside, like drywall but as far as the structure stuff, no, I don't want to do that. I want that house standing for another 70 years. So.
Thank you.
So.
Any other committee questions? Okay, you can have a chair. Thank you. Correspondence?
Yes, we have one letter from the DNR received today, addressed to the Waushara County Board of Adjustments. Subject variance request for Schlimgen property, Town of Marion in Waushara County. Dear board members, I am writing to you to provide department comments regarding the variance request for the Schlimgen property that is to be reviewed before the Waushara County Board of Adjustment on May 21st, 2015. I appreciate you providing me with the materials for this request. I am providing these comments to you in place of making an appearance at the public hearing in person. Please have these comments delivered to and/or read before the Board of Adjustments. Comments. The applicant must convincingly demonstrate that they are meeting all 3 required variance criteria for unnecessary hardship, area, or use, hardship due to unique property limitations, and no harm to public interests. The principal structure is an existing legal nonconforming structure located within the shoreline setback and less than 35 feet from the ordinary high water mark within the shoreline vegetation buffer zone. Maintenance and repair would be allowed for such a structure, but the expansion of raising, adding to the basement foundation, second-story addition, and added deck to the principal structure are considered much more than the intent of the maintenance and repair, which are allowed under the ordinance and the standards under NR 115. Therefore, the department believes the variance for the project as described should be denied. Board of Adjustment should consider whether there are other options on the property that would be compliant with the ordinance provisions and that would have less impact on the 35-foot buffer zone. Repeated variances for the construction or expansion of structures within the shoreline vegetated buffer area would be contrary to the public interest and have a cumulative adverse impact on Silver Lake. The Board of Adjustment should also determine whether the proposed project, rather than other options considered, are a personal preference or circumstance of the applicant. The Snyder versus Waukesha County Zoning Board of Adjustment decision made it clear a circumstance of the applicant is not a factor to be considered when deciding variances. In addition, a hardship is not apparent since the applicant currently has reasonable use of the property. The department commends the applicant for being willing to improve the vegetative buffers on the west and lake sides of the property, and the department encourages that future options would include those steps to improve the protection of lake water quality by reducing surface water runoff from adding sediment and nutrients to the lake and improving natural scenic beauty along the shoreline. Please note that these comments are in regard to shoreline zoning only and do not reflect applicable erosion control, waterway permitting, or other department regulations. Please contact me if you have any questions regarding these recommendations. And that's signed sincerely, Dale Rezebeck, Regional Shoreline Specialist. And that's it for correspondence.
Anyone registered to speak in favor?
No one registered to speak.
Staff comments?
For the record, the board has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all the data that was submitted for this application and the other two that they will be considering tonight. And they also visited all the properties and viewed the proposals and their location on site. This time I'd like to explain a little bit about variances. Variances ask for a relaxation of a dimensional standard in the code. The decision to grant a variance must be backed by substantive reasons, which include an unnecessary hardship is being caused by the code requirement, or that the code requirement is unreasonably burdensome. There are unique limitations on the property that prevent the landowner from meeting the required dimensional standards, and if the variance is granted, no harm will be done to the public interest or the zoning code. It is the applicant's responsibility to present the case and provide the burden of proof as to why the variance should be granted. The personal situation of the applicant, financial hardship, or nearby violations cannot be considered as valid reasons to grant a variance. When the board visited the property, they noted that there is room for construction that is further away from both the road and water to the east of the existing home, and that there are numerous non-conforming stairs, retaining walls, and decks between the home and the water. As far as my comments go, I would have to say that I concur with DNR and some of the board's observations. This is a situation where I don't feel that the applicant is making the best use of the lot area that is available, and they actually are going closer to the lake and the side lot line than the existing home because of the angle of the lake and the side lot line. The home appears to be in not the greatest condition, and a lot of work will need to be done to it to get it into a like-new condition. And that almost leads me to believe that starting over might be a better option, or at least trying to meet the setbacks better. And there's really no justification for going closer to the side lot line or the ordinary high water mark of Silver Lake than the existing home as presented here tonight. It also seems that there are quite a few things that could be done to mitigate construction on this lot. Building in a more compliant location, moving construction further from the lake and the westerly side lot line, removing the retaining walls and decking close to the water, planting some native vegetation along the shoreline, working on stormwater runoff and containing that. It just seems like you could improve the overall location and quality of construction, as well as all those accesses to the home and the water too. So I have to recommend that this application, as submitted, be denied. And that's it for my comments.
The applicant have anything in rebuttal?
And I appreciate your comments, you know, and I met with Rick out there, and, you know, we had talked about the side deck, and we'd probably be willing to take that off if that was enough to get the variance approved, that little piece down there, because that was the one thing that he had mentioned. But as far as, you know, we we don't want to take that wall out, because what we see is, if we would take the wall out, that side of the property would be as steep as the other side of the property, which actually would cause more issues, we feel. But, you know, and we'd be willing to work as part of this variance with the to establish the mitigation plan for the property. To, you know, look at that property and say to remove that house, I just can't see, you know, taking that house down. It just, to me, that, you know, I'm a farmer, and I just can't see taking a property down and trying to start over when you have something that's good, that you can, you know, give it a facelift. So I guess that's what I'd like to say. So, yeah, again, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for Terry. Could you explain for my benefit and maybe the applicant's benefit exactly what could be done without a variance? As far as, you know, windows, doors, siding, roof?
It can be recited, it can be re-roofed, windows are the same size, doors, you know, anything that doesn't require a structural alteration can be done. So there certainly could be a facelift, new wiring, upgrading the plumbing, you know, floor coverings, wall coverings, all of that stuff is considered maintenance and repair,
So
normal maintenance and repair.
Wiring, heating, ventilating, air conditioning, that's all would be permitted. But if you start moving interior walls, that's structural.
They're load-bearing.
If they're load-bearing, that's structural alteration, and then
If you need to do something with the rafters or the floor joists or anything else,
Yep.
headers, those kind of things are all structural load-bearing components.
Why don't you come up to the front?
We wanted to do was to put, you know, patio doors up front, and what we were told is exactly what you said. We have to put the windows back in the same spot and the same size, so we couldn't do any of that without a variance on the property. And so then that's what we want to do. If you look at the layout of the house, if you're at the lake and face it, the bedroom's on the right-hand side and the stairway going up is on the left-hand side, and what we'd like to do is use that corner so you can see the lake, you know, and so we want to put patio doors, and the kitchen would be on that side so you can look on the lake, where it's on the far corner right now, so we can't do any of that without a variance, and that's what we're told, so.
Okay, the next variance to be considered tonight, Kenneth J. and Eileen A. Schneider, Rochester, Minnesota, made an application for a variance in accordance with section 58-235, paragraph A, paragraph 4, and 5A, 58-542, paragraph C, paragraph 2, and 58-823, paragraph C and paragraph 2 of the Waushara County zoning code to construct a 6x14 mudroom addition on a crawl space, a 16x20 addition on an exposed basement, and a 10x10 exposed basement addition with open deck above coming to within 7 feet of the easterly side lot line, 15-foot setback required, 8x20 portion of existing dwelling to be removed, exceeding maintenance and repair allowed of an existing non-conforming dwelling, non-conforming due to side lot setback on a non-conforming lot, non-conforming due to lot width in the RS-20 single-family residential zone within the shoreland area. Location, a parcel of land being the east one half of Lot G, Lot 1 of the plat of Leonona Grove being part of government lot number 6, Section 30, Town of Leon, Pearl Lake W, 4640 South Pearl Lake Road. You come forward, please.
Ken Schneider.
Okay. And you want to tell us basically what you want to do out there?
Yes, so as you remember from your visit, it's a small 630-foot existing cabin today, and we want to put an addition on the front. Would be a walkout with a bedroom and a bathroom. Or the front, I call the front lakeside. Sorry. And on the
Put that mic up a little bit.
sorry. And on the roadside, we want to put a mudroom, a washer and dryer. Both of the additions don't make the setbacks worse. They actually improve it because the cabin currently sits crooked to the lot lines. It was surveyed in June of 2014. The lakefront was done in 2007 with conservation, water conservation program, actually through money through Washoe County, and it was set at that time.
Okay, just a few general questions for the record then. How close to the existing structure to the westerly side lot line are you? 7.5 feet.
Yep. With the addition? Yeah. So
Westerly side lot line would be the
the
existing
wet,
house, though.
So you're going farther away from,
so on the west lot line, the one corner is 1 foot 4 inches. And because it sits crooked and we're going to go straight out from the building, it will increase to 3 feet 6 inches. On the east lot line, it starts at 9.3, building sits crooked, and we're going to end up at 7 foot 7.
have you talked to the neighbors in the township about this?
Talked to 2 neighbors to the east, 2 neighbors to the west. The township I've not spoken to. We did try to reach both the township and the Lake Association, but it's been phone tag.
You own one of the houses to the west, correct?
Right, that's my family cottage from my father, 1964. I purchased it because he couldn't afford the taxes.
So the two families own the properties together. It's the family, the two properties are one family.
Correct.
What type of foundation are you putting under this addition?
Poured concrete.
And how far above existing grade will the first floor elevation be?
It's 5 foot, so it'll be 4. Yeah, thank you. 3 generations of contractors.
Not really raising it that much then.
Well, it's going to just take the current floor and go straight out.
Finished height is gonna be about the same as you got there?
Yeah, match the current roof line, so it'd be with a raised basement underneath, 21 feet.
Any retaining walls along the west side of the property being planned?
We would like to put a retaining wall. As you remember, that property, it was graded out 50 years ago by previous owners. So we'd like to put a retaining wall on that side, on that west side.
There's erosion on there now on that hillside a little bit, isn't
So
it?
we want it, right, so we'd like to put a retaining wall with a drain tile so that that stops.
Repair what you've got there basically, or construct a new one?
Yeah, we'll stop, sure.
So would it be concrete, or would it be wood, or?
Concrete.
How far out do you think that wall, I mean, it's well within the 70
75
before the 75 feet, but how far do you think that retaining wall would run?
Well, they, probably 12 to 14 feet beyond the end of that building.
How many feet, if, just off the top of your heads, between the front of the house and the ordinary high water mark? Do we know how the distance approximately?
Yeah, I have that.
Why don't you come up to it, so?
Yeah, I have that.
And state your name.
I'm sorry, I'm Pete Schneider, Ken's brother, and I filled out a lot of this paperwork and stuff because I've been hanging around zoning boards a little bit. So, we are. 20'6" to we'll still be back from the front of the new addition, 20'6" back from the ordinary high water mark. So we'd like to,
5-foot setback, so there's plenty of room there yet.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
And a retaining wall would not go past the 75-foot?
No, no.
You plan on dealing with stormwater runoff and potential erosion? Gutters, downspout?
In the microphone, please.
So the retaining wall would be part of that. And then we'd put drain tile around the current cabin. We could put gutters on if that was requested. Wasn't planning to because of cleaning the gutters all the time, but
Okay. Any other improvements planned at this time?
oh, I'm sorry, well and septic, that's a large part of the expense. Bill Tome, I believe, has submitted the material for that. The plan is to sign an easement on the property to the west so that we could put the septic field there, and the tank would be on the property we're asking the variance for. And the well would be on an easement, again, on the property to the west to serve both cabins, a deep well.
So we'll be able to discontinue both shallow wells that are used now, and both cabins will have new septic as well.
Tell us, when we were out there, that you were gonna eliminate one of those driveways?
Oh, yeah, so where the septic field is going, that driveway will be eliminated.
That's what I thought.
And I also, you haven't asked, but as you were leaving, you asked that I take down the outhouse, so I guess I'll be taking the outhouse down.
Make sure nobody's in it.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna keep the driveway
That you drove into.
and probably the other one for parking, aren't you? You're gonna
No.
remove all that gravel and not have
No,
anyone
because
parking there by that garage?
right now, to get by the garage is a tight turn anyway. We'd have to end up driving on a septic, which is just a bad idea.
And right now, they're currently, where that septic was on the west and stuff, that's coming out. Bill Toma's got that in his stuff, but there's currently a retaining wall, railroad ties, if you guys remember, that's all coming out. That'll all be naturally sloped again back.
Have you thought about removing any of the structures closer to the water than the 75-foot?
No, we haven't. Again, when we did the land conservation work, we removed a number of structures and sidewalks and items at that time.
You done that shoreline work back in 2012, correct?
2007.
Did you sign an affidavit saying you're gonna maintain that?
Absolutely. Yes. And I don't know if you remember if you walked down there or not.
I do need to look at that, because land conservation has a O and M agreement, and it's not really our affidavit, so I'm not sure there's
I
one
signed-
of our
okay.
affidavits.
I'd sign you one of yours. I have signed an affidavit. And I don't know if you noticed, I don't know if any of you went down there, but the shoreline has never been touched since, except when the storm came through and blew everything over. But
That looks good.
everything else is as it was designed.
We don't know if there's an affidavit.
I honestly don't think there is, because land conservation would not have required one.
I know I did sign one.
They do
'cause-
sign, they call it an operation and maintenance agreement, and that's for 10 years.
I'd be more than willing to sign an affidavit, because I already thought I did, so.
What is the current square footage of the cottage that you have now, do you?
680 feet. Yeah, it's,
And with the additions, they'll bring it up above the 720 then?
yeah, to about 1,000 feet, square feet.
And if an approval were granted, when would you start this construction?
Upon permitting. So the goal is to complete this before winter. It's a pretty small and,
There goes my son.
it's pretty small, and we have,
Yeah, that's true.
I have a son and a son-in-law. And we're all contractors at one time or another, so.
Any other committee questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Correspondence?
No correspondence, no one registered.
Staff comments?
burden of proof as to why the variance should be granted. All the stuff that I said the last time applies again. When the board visited the property, they noted that the landowner appears to own the narrow parcel to the west. Corp Counsel and the tax lister have both noted that these are titled differently, and thus they consider them to be in separate ownership. So we're looking at two parcels here. They are obviously taking advantage of having the familial ownership to deal with some of the septic and well issues that come with these very small lots. The house is about 20 feet wide, so it's not an overly large home. They also noted that there are some small retaining walls between the cottage and the water that do not meet water setbacks, and that those could be removed as an additional mitigation item. And that's it for my comments.
Anything in rebuttal?
Terry, we talked about the retaining wall up front. That's easy to take away on getting rid of that, as well as the patio. We won't have much more hardscape on this lot than is there now because of the patio and stuff that's coming out of the back and stuff. So actually, we're going to put the property back closer to normal grades and vegetation and stuff that was there originally.
The retaining wall's pretty busted up in a couple places now, so if you don't do it now when you got the equipment there.
That's the son-in-law's job. Yeah, it never had to drain behind it, so it's falling over. The other part, as you notice, is we are abandoning that driveway. So actually, that next to the garage will just be a parking spot.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
The final one to be considered tonight, Nathaniel and Jennifer Lenz, Appleton, Wisconsin, have made an application for variance in accordance with section 58-235, paragraph A, paragraph 5A, and B1 of the Waushara County zoning code to construct a 10 by 24 two-story breezeway addition onto an existing single-family dwelling and a 31 by 24 attached garage with living area above existing detached garage and shed to be raised. Improvements exceeding maintenance or repair allowed to an existing non-conforming structure, non-conforming due to road and side lot setbacks, RS20 single-family residential zone within the shoreline area. Location an approximate .199 acre parcel of land known as Lot 5, Block 20, and part of vacated alley in the village of Tustin plat, being part of the south one half of the northeast one quarter, section 36, town of Bloomfield, W274, County Road H. Come forward, please. Want to briefly tell us what you want to do out there, and then we'll have some general questions.
State his name. Nate Lenz. And yeah, I want to just add an attached garage straight out the back with livable space above it and a breezeway that connect the garage and the existing dwelling.
Recent survey out there?
Yes, in March.
And you're sure of all the road right-of-way and everything?
Yes.
Talk to the town board about this?
So the original county map that I saw was extremely confusing with a lot line right through the house. So I was actually relieved that I have 2 inches of grass next to it. But the center line for what's zoned for the road is actually the closer edge of the road. So I have 33 feet of grass between the two. And I did talk to the town board, and you asked me to bring the letters.
And actually Rick had it, so I have it too.
So really, the road isn't where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. So, and they already, when I was talking to Mark Stubbs about it from the town, they had already vacated the back half of that road, and they don't want to vacate, because I had asked to still have the gas tax on it, if they could vacate 16 feet to give me enough room, but that would mean vacating water frontage, and they didn't want to do that, because the section my house is on is also the access to the lake.
So you've had discussion the way it sounds?
Quite a few.
Uh, have they noted any conditions that you must follow about improvements within their right-of-way?
The only thing they said is not to add anything that would mess with the plow. So the existing driveway wouldn't be altered except for a curtain, which would be 15 feet off the road.
Kind of a vague question. How are you gonna deal with stormwater runoff in Tustin?
Well, I was planning on, in the back, there's a ditch and the front that are connected with a culvert that I was gonna run it to in the back.
There really isn't an erosion problem in the whole village, is there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Don't talk to my uncle. I think he lost most of his property.
What type of foundation is this planned on?
It's gonna be poured concrete.
And how far above existing grade will the first floor elevation be, and any filling or grading to speak of?
The first floor of the garage, that's gonna stay the same, yeah. I mean, it'll be higher than what the current garage is. It'll be at the highest point, which it grades up about 1.5 feet next to the house, so it'll match that highest grade.
And finished height isn't gonna be any different on the home than what you've got?
Exactly the same.
Roof line and go out. Single-family dwelling will not be used as a duplex, is that correct?
Correct.
What are you planning on doing with the existing home?
Fixing it up.
That deck that comes out to the road in front that's suspended with a couple of chains up there, is that?
Oh, up on the upper?
Down or out, or?
I was told that the attic can only, or I bought it with a bedroom up there, and it can only be used as attic, so I don't care. I can take it down.
There's a double door in there?
Yeah.
Oh, once the deck is gone, you don't need a double door either.
Right, I'll just put a window up there.
Okay.
And you're not gonna have any living space in that area anyways, correct? Okay. Any other improvements planned at this time?
Nothing structural.
The lower deck, though, towards H, were you gonna do anything with that?
Just replace the top boards, nothing structurally.
And there'll be plenty of room there for parking and enough room for turnarounds, so you're not backing out onto H? Okay. All other setbacks will be met then?
Mm-hmm.
And if an approval were granted, when would you start this construction?
Tomorrow. No, as soon as I could.
Get the permits though.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions from the committee?
Just the steps on the front deck, they're in the town right away? Any conversation on that with them, or they don't have a problem?
They didn't say anything about it. They didn't care, so.
The eaves of the original house must extend overhang into the road right away also, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I only have 2 inches and they extend about 1.5 feet.
My other concern is the hardship in this case. You have a large lot that, a lot of it, which you're not utilizing, and you're asking to allow us to grant a variance to build within 2 inches of the lot line, which is very unusual. Sometimes when we do variance, we may allow somebody to build 2 feet or 3 feet or 4 feet into the 7.5 foot that's normally required on the side lot line. But to build that close to the lot line seems like makes it a major variance.
Is that 2 separate parcels, your property?
No, I only have 1.
I have on this
there,
number.
is that vacant property next to you, yours?
Vacant.
I mean, it's quite open there? Looks like the grass has been cut?
In the back?
No, well, on the side,
The east,
Oh.
the east side.
I own up to the garage of my neighbors.
You do?
garage to
So,
the east
that
actually
property.
encroaches.
Yeah.
Somebody else's.
Oh, that's right.
This is the town property.
This is the town, this is his, and then this one here that is,
Petrovskis,
yeah, there's a, that's. And then there's
Hartzheim on the corner.
parts of on the corner, so there's one in between the corner and him.
Yeah.
So I think we should note for the record that this road right away we're talking doesn't go anywhere.
No.
It's a dead end.
It's a driveway, basically, correct?
There's, for the 3 houses that's on it, yeah.
Sure those,
It's not a road in the respect that the back end has been abandoned already, correct?
Right, yep. That's already been vacated all the way through, so, and that's what the town was saying. They don't care because they never have any plans to do more than what it is,
So
which
you
is,
and-
like I said, the 33 feet off.
You and the neighbor use this town road and that's it,
Yep.
across, right across from you,
Yeah, well, there's two neighbors across, so all 3 of us use it.
another one back there.
and I'm sure that those neighbors don't want it abandoned because the town plows it, right?
Right,
There you go.
exactly.
All right.
Yeah, and I think it's a parking lot for one of them sometimes.
No, okay.
But you also said that the town can't abandon this street?
They said they didn't
Without
want to.
abandoning the street across the road?
Correct. They said that was one section that they would have to abandon.
Who makes that ruling?
Board.
Yeah, because I brought it to them to ask if I could get 16 feet vacated.
Is that a state ruling?
I have no idea. I'm really not familiar with towns.
Because I've never heard of that before.
I haven't heard of it either, but I'm, again, not very familiar with towns abandoning roads, so it would be their call whether they would abandon it or not.
But I don't see why you'd have to abandon all parts of it.
I don't understand that either.
The sheriff might want to talk.
We have a town chairman here that might shed some light on it.
Mr. Town Chairman.
Jeff Nett, I'm also town chairman for the town of Watoma, and we have had experience with abandoning roads. There was some recent legislation that changed that made the process a little more easier, but a township can decide to abandon all or parts of a roadway, and there's a process to go through. So it could be, you know, you could abandon, like, you know, the whole road. You could abandon, you know, like half a way in or whatever you want to do. To abandon one side or not, I don't know how that would fit into it, but I mean, if they could abandon it, you know, I've had experience with that in the town of Watoma where, you know, we kept the road intact for residents, but beyond that, it was turned back to property
Like
owner.
he approached the town to get 16 feet or buy 10, 16 feet, and they don't want to do it. And they don't think they have the right to do it.
That's their call, their decision. I mean, they have to, you know, decide if it's in the town's interest or not. So, but it can be done if they so decide to do so.
What they're implying is part of the street's on one side of H and the part of it's on the other. And what they're saying is they can't do one without the other. And that seems strange to me.
Maybe they don't want to because they'll lose the gas tax also, so that's just,
That little
that's a
bit
town
doesn't make
board
much
preference, it sounds like.
That is part of, I mean, you know, however small it would be losing road aids. But I'm not sure I understand what the lay of the land is up there, Larry. What's,
Well, part of the road is on the north side of H, and part of it is on the lake side, or it runs into the lake.
oh, okay.
South side of H.
This one happens to be on the north with no water. You know, you can see it from the house if you look around the other houses, but,
And the back half already has been
yeah,
abandoned.
and it's all been abandoned until you get to your lot. And I don't think you can abandon half of it and give that to you without abandoning. I do think you can't do that.
It would have to be the whole right-of-way. From right-of-way to right-of-way would be abandoned. It's just the length of that you could, you know, abandon it.
Thank you, Jeff.
questions? You're gonna remove two buildings too, right?
A shed and the existing garage.
Okay, thank you. Correspondence?
We do have the one email from Mark Stibbs, the chair for the town of Bloomfield, to the Washera County Planning and Zoning Committee concerning the variance request by Nathaniel and Jennifer Lenz to build an addition onto their existing structure, which would be non-conforming due to road and side lot setbacks. On May 5th, the Town of Bloomfield Plan Commission met at the site with Nate Lenz to look at the proposed project site and asked Mr. Lenz some questions about his plans. After discussion, it was unanimously decided to approve his request to build closer to the right-of-way than the setbacks would allow. This was decided because the other house on this dead-end street was even closer than his, and his addition would not be any closer than the existing structure. This approval was passed along to the Town of Bloomfield Town Board at their regular meeting later that night on May 5th. After hearing the Plan Commission's report, the Town Board also unanimously approved the variance request. And that's signed sincerely, Mark Stibbs, Town of Bloomfield Chairman and member of the Plan Commission. And that's it for correspondence. No one registered.
Staff comments?
Again, the board has visited the site. They've looked at all the information provided. We're asking for a relaxation of a dimensional standard code. It's the applicant's responsibility to present the case and provide the burden of proof as to why the variance should be granted. When the board visited the property, they noted that the stairs to the deck and the existing detached garage extend into the road right away, but that the shed and detached garage are slated for